sir.
Mine probably come from China.
Yeah.
We all.
Hotel stayed out last night. They had to change their clocks in the room. I woke up and I'm like,
State law requires this body to announce at this time that a copy of the current Open Meetings Act is available at the back of the room where it is accessible to the public. Weiss.
Here.
Tiller.
Here.
Hart. No. Warren.
Here.
Johnson. Aaron.
Here.
You, sir?
Here.
Johnson. Ben.
Here.
Smith.
here.
Thank you.
All rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item agenda 1, the consent agenda. Approve this agenda, pay the claims as submitted, approve the treasurer's report for February 2025, approve the minutes of the March 4th, 2025 regular meeting of the City Council. Lola moves, and Trent seconds.
Warren.
Yes.
Aaron Johnson.
Yes.
Duker.
Yes.
Ben Johnson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Tiller.
Yes.
You.
Item agenda 2, public forum. I see no one, so I will close public forum. Item agenda 3, open the public hearing to receive comments on the City of Holdridge 1 and 6-year plan for street improvement projects.
I'm just here if you have
Questions?
on it.
Okay. Any questions or comments for next?
Anything new that we don't know about? I added on, curb and gutter on the south side of 7th Ave from Lincoln Street, a block and a half west. I'm sure you've noticed that. And that's all we've added for now. And you can do a project whether it's on this or not, but this is a requirement from the state to have this plan regardless, so.
I will close public hearing. Thank you. Item agenda 4, adopt resolution 2025-01, approving the City of Holdridge 1 and 6-year plan for street improvement projects. Corey moves.
I'll second.
Aaron Johnson seconds.
Tiller.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Aaron Johnson.
Yes.
Bucher.
Yes.
Ben Johnson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
And Weiss.
Yes. Thank you.
Item agenda 5, receive and accept the City of Holdridge annual audit report for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2024 from KSO CPAs.
Good evening. My name is Brooke Miller, and I'm a CPA and shareholder with KSO CPAs in Kearney. We completed your financial statement audit for the year ended September 30th, 2024. Does everybody have a copy of the report? I just wanted to highlight a few things. First off, if you'll refer to page 4. This is called the Management's Discussion and Analysis, and it's a kind of a synopsis of the financial statements in a more readable form. So I just wanted to highlight a few areas. As of September 30th, the assets or your cash exceeded your liabilities by $34,094,380 for all funds. The City of Holdridge's net position increased by $2,298,078 in comparison to the prior year decrease of $163,145. And the overall city debt increased by $817,082 during the year ended September 30th, 2024. If you can flip back to page 51. This is the schedule of receipts and disbursements. So this is on your cash basis. This is actual compared to budget. So this only reflects all the cash transactions, not any of the accrual type adjustments that we make. So you will notice the first two columns are the original and the final budget amounts. There were no changes this year between the original budget and your final budget. The next column is actual, and that's actually what was spent in all of these categories. And then the last column obviously is the variance between the final original budget and the actual. So if you'll notice, for the receipts, the city collected $1,848,138 more than was budgeted. And then for total disbursements, the city spent $9,193,304 compared to the $12,265,548 that was budgeted. So you spent $3 million less than was budgeted and collected $1.8 million more than was budgeted. So your total beginning cash balance at the bottom, which was as of October 1st, 2023, was $3,711,000, and the ending cash balance was $4,206,000. Any questions on that? For the business type activities, which are your proprietary funds, which include landfill, water, sewer, and electric. The landfill increased its position by $125,800 for the year. Electric department increased $439,000. Sewer increased $65,492, and water increased by $568,960. And you can see this information on page 18 of the report. Major capital asset purchases during the year included 3 police responder pickups for $103,570. The Northern Meadows subdivision was paid at a cost of $379,232, and the ball field improvements of $903,900.
Excuse me, are you on a different page?
No, I'm just reading a summary.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah, I'm just telling you what the major items were. I don't have anything else as far as numbers. Does anybody have any questions on that? I have a couple other things to talk about, but not in reference to actual numbers. I just wanted to mention we did report a finding for lack of segregation of duties. We have reported this every year. This is because of the size of the organization and the inability, just due to budget constraints, to hire enough staff. So we just want to make you aware that this is very common for almost all cities and villages in Nebraska. So board oversight, council oversight is very important in trying to mitigate this. So we just ask that you continue to review the financial statements regularly and ask any questions that you may have. And we are always available as auditors if you have any questions or concerns. The last thing, I have a few bullet points. We observed several funds that had negative cash and or fund balances. So in the accounting world and in the governmental auditing world, we have to show those if they're negative as payables and receivables between the individual funds. We can't report negative cash. These continue to grow every year, so we just recommend that you build some transfers into your budget and into those funds so that you can move that money and try to reduce those interfund balances. Second, we noted during our audit of fixed assets or large purchases, several expenditures that were coded to capital outlays that could have been recorded as operating expenses. We recommend the city examine its current capitalization policy and consider formally adopting a threshold, a minimum of 5,000 is recommended, so everything under 5,000 would just be considered an expense, and then everything over 5,000 we would look at to see if we wanted to capitalize and put that as a major fixed asset. We observed a few outstanding checks that have been outstanding for over a year. We just recommend that you review that list, void any, or turn them over to unclaimed property within the state of Nebraska. And then lastly, Mary does a great job, and she's always organized and very helpful. So she's always very responsive to our questions and suggestions. So she does a great job for the city. Any questions for me?
You see that oversight is pretty common for municipalities and villages around our side. Do you have any recommendations or suggestions of any other protective measures we can put in place for that type of situation?
I think you do, a pretty good job just because there are more than just Mary. There's Jessica and there's some other staff. So I think you're doing the best that you can. It's just that, unless you try to split up the duties more, but that's just really hard to, not have one person do everything. So you probably are better than some places because you have multiple staff, but like some smaller ones that just have one person, there's much they can do about that. So we're not really concerned about that. It's just, that's something we just have to know because of the way it is. So.
And then I would say in the mornings when the money comes in and people start to pay their bills and things, money goes like on Jessica's desk, and Anna has to do something, and then Nicole has to do something. So all three of them are in the loop when the money comes in before it gets into the system. So they do a good job.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Accept a motion to accept the audit report. Nick?
I'll second.
Trent?
Weiss,
Yes.
Tiller,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Aaron Johnson,
Yes.
Euchre,
Yes.
Ben Johnson,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes. Excellent. Open discussion. Tonight we'll start with David.
Haven't heard anything, thank you.
Would you like it, Mike?
No.
Okay.
You should one time.
Well, actually, we'll give you more time for this, but okay, all right, thank you. Chief.
That's what I'd say. On March 28th, the hospital's going to be sponsoring a Code Save. It's referenced Josh Palmer, Officer Palmer, and dispatcher Caitlin Menzie. They saved a life through their actions, so they'll be receiving a certificate and a pen. There'll be a little ceremony, coffee and donuts.
Where was this at?
The hospital.
What
It'll
time?
be at the cafeteria. It's between 9 and 10:30.
When will the actual ceremony?
What's that?
When are you giving them the pen and stuff like that? Or already
That'll be at 10.
at 10?
So if you guys can make it, it'd be great.
Should be tomorrow.
Was it 28th? Yes, 28th.
March 28th.
I said you should be tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Why? Oh, because,
It's
yeah.
Friday.
Other than that, that's all I got.
Okay, great, thank you, Chief. Corey?
I found a hill to die on, and that is a fight with Two Rivers over their pool inspection policy. I think they're supposed to be here next week. I did send a fairly pointed letter to them that the mayor saw, as well as Chris, questioning their authority to do a lot of things that they want to do, namely charge us for pool inspections of our municipal pool. But I also was seeking clarification exactly with what they're trying to do. I've not heard back from them. I sent a registered mail, I think Wednesday or Thursday of last week. So I'm hoping that they'll reach out to us before the meeting so it doesn't go into Donnybrook next meeting we have. But hopefully we can get some answers, because what they're trying to do, in my opinion, is not legal. So,
And Corey, I think they rescheduled to the second meeting.
oh, okay,
So,
okay. They're scared, so. But nevertheless, it is a real big concern because it is a power grab by them. And we want to make sure that they do things right in the changeover from Nebraska Department of Energy and Environment. So, second thing is, I did get a rather ominous phone call last week also from NDE about the landfill. And they're going to come and do an announced inspection of the landfill, hoping to see market improvement with the landfill. I met with Chris and the guys from the landfill last week, and I'm very satisfied that they've made significant progress to try to address many of the concerns. There's still, some work to be done, but really that's all NDE was really asking when they called me last week is for us to show significant progress. So I think they're going to be impressed. When they come, they're going to announce they're coming. They want to sit down and meet with whoever wants to be there and present to discuss their findings. They're bringing their lawyers with them, and I know many of their lawyers, and I kind of back-channeled after they called and said, okay, here's what we did, and we also sent a letter last week that was due addressing many of the concerns that they had raised in their audit of the landfill. So we should be able to hold them up. And then finally, we're doing more work on the vacant property registry. I got one family that agreed to turn over their property to us without doing a court fight, and we're working on the arrangements to get that done. And then we'll file liens on the other properties that are outstanding, but then we've also identified 6 other properties that we're sending warning letters out saying you've got 30 days to correct this before you have to register. So we're making progress.
Excellent.
I have a quick question just on the landfill thing. Are we invited to just be there just to hear, to be informed?
Absolutely. They called to let us know. We don't have a date yet.
Oh, okay.
They're going to call, but they were just kind of giving me a heads up that they wanted to come out. I think it was sort of a scare tactic saying, get your ducks in a row. We're coming, and we're coming, and be ready to sit down and talk afterwards. But I think from what I heard and what I saw, there's been a lot of positive progress made. And to be honest with you, from what I heard and what I understand, there was a lot of neglect that took place over a long period of time out at that landfill. And it's not something that you can fix overnight. But from what I understand, there's been a significant progress since the last inspection last year.
And there has been.
We're going the right direction. I mean, and that's all the state really wants.
Right.
And when I talked to the guys that work in the AG's office, my former colleagues, I told them, hey, be patient with us. We're going to show marked improvement. One of the criticisms that the guy from NDE called me said was there seemed to be some disconnect between City Hall and the landfill. And I said, well, you know that you've got my ear, and I will be that conduit if there's a problem with that, and we'll keep, that line of communication open. But I think that was, from what I understand from Chris, that was an old problem where there was nothing, people didn't know what was going on in City Hall out at the landfill. And I think those days are gone, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Shane? Okay. Noah?
Only that the lights are going up down the street on
Yes.
these, and we can talk about it.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay.
You're fine.
Yeah, I'm excited for Friday night.
Yeah, right.
Mary, thank you for all your
Yeah,
work.
very good.
Every year this goes smoothly. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Corey Stoll.
See, nothing. Okay, now what the wrong
We're gonna
way?
start
I think you guys just wait until Steve says something and you say,
Ben?
I was just curious, Lance, I guess since you're here, do we have any plans for any rehabilitation to the south park, the playground equipment and the play areas?
We don't have any currently, because I suppose we need to look into that then.
Well, they've been playing on gravel for how many years, and stickers have constantly been a problem over there.
Okay.
So since maybe now's the time to maybe improve it a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
We're gonna for sure put down sterile for those playgrounds, and we're getting on that on time this year, so I'm hoping that really cuts down on the stickers for sure. So if you got any ideas on something you wanna see, let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love
Yeah,
to
maybe
hear.
talk about it and see if there's
Yeah.
any plans we can do some sort of improvement over there.
Yeah.
Because it's getting a lot of activity, especially with ball fields. We're turning into basketball courts, and the summer coming around, there's going to be a lot of traffic. And there are the book stations are being used.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of kids are going there.
Good.
Which is nice improvement over. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, again, reiterate, thank you, Mary. Great job, always, as always. I have a question for the council and the chief, actually. I've been in contact with some of our patrolmen that have requested from us an assist because of complaints about the exorbitantly loud vehicles in the middle of the night roaming around town in the areas that house our elderly, and if I'm understanding it correctly, the ordinance we have in place doesn't say that they can't unless they can't rev their engines or be loud unless it's a quiet zone. Does that sound right?
Well, so we have the muffler violation.
Okay.
You know, you have to have a muffler, stuff like that.
Right.
But we can also go with disturbing the peace. If someone's like revving their motor and it disturbs someone's peace, we could probably go ahead and
Or squealing their tires.
school their tires.
Well, yeah, I get that. That's exhibition driving
Yeah.
or acceleration.
But it'd be this like any other noise complaint. So if someone had, say, a loud stereo, we could handle it the same way.
Is that only during quiet hours after?
We don't have a quiet hour.
Oh, we don't?
No.
Right.
So it just depends.
So
We don't, I guess I'm not even sure where there's quiet zones.
case by case basis?
Yeah.
Or do we?
Well, like, if someone has a complaint that so-and-so is being loud, they should call us and say, they're disturbing my peace, and we'll go and talk to the problem. Some of those cases are they're just driving by.
Oh, yeah.
And by the time we're there, unless they get a plate number,
I totally agree with you.
yeah.
So is there something that maybe we could do as a council to try to curb this ourselves by making a portion of the town a quiet zone at a particular time of the day?
Everybody's quiet. I always thought, like, Corey never smelled it. I always thought there was.
Right.
But I guess it's common courtesy.
Right.
After 9 o'clock, you're not.
Well, I generally, like,
Well, there are for residences,
Right.
but I don't know if there necessarily is something that covers moving traffic or people that are,
You're talking more
Mobile.
traffic than.
Moving traffic.
Okay.
And it's gonna run, it kind of sounds like we'll run into the same problem with Jake brakes.
Yes, well, and that was gonna be another
Or
point.
trains.
I mean, those signs are there, they all know they're not supposed to, they do it anyway.
Right.
So it would be another one along those lines. Well, if we did do something, what would the benefit be in doing it if we can't enforce it?
Yeah, other than if you did post a quiet zone or whatever, and somebody was caught in those zones,
Right.
then you're a violation of that zone. Same thing with Jake brakes, I take it. It's posted, no Jake brakes, but yet when they do come into town and use them, if they get caught, then that's the violation.
yeah.
So I guess, you could do something along those lines. I'm just thinking off the top of my head.
So if we established a certain timeline for quiet in the town, perhaps?
I have a question for you, Trent. You mentioned the officers brought to your attention by some of the officers as well. Is that what you said as well?
Yes.
how have they addressed it, or have they been able to address it with
Well-
individuals, or?
Not able to do much about it as long as there's, you know, if they've got a muffler and the car's still loud, what do you do? If it's somebody just driving down the road, I mean, how do you, disturbing the peace? How?
Trent, let me do a little looking into noise ordinances from other areas and see if there's anything that would cover us and be legal.
That'd be great. Because I know, you know, downtown, we're trying to push for some residences on the upper levels of these buildings. And we're getting a lot of occupants. Well, it gets really echoey down here.
Well, what I'm thinking about, like, we have concerts
Right.
and all that stuff that goes on, Swedish days. I mean, is this gonna, we'll have to build some kind of an exemption into
Right.
it if we do it,
And
so.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So another thing to take into consideration, if we're gonna do this, or create something, is I know there's a lot of bikes out there that are very loud, but they are just loud. That's just how they are. So, not that they're breaking any laws or rules or anything, but at a certain time of day, maybe we try to curb some of that activity.
Yeah.
But if you can look into it, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, my observation, having been here, is that, you know, there's a lot of vehicles that are just normally accelerating that cause a lot of noise because it's a very quiet community.
Yep.
And so, you know, what might be more tolerable in a bigger location may not be so here. So, but let me look and see what other similar sized communities or whatnot have done in terms of noise ordinances. Give you some ideas on what might pass, you know, criminal and legal muster, so.
That'd be good, you know, especially in those areas like Sunrise View,
Right.
things like that. That's, I mean, come on, just make that awful.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron?
I have nothing, nope.
As Lola mentioned earlier, the festoon lighting, did it get up, I take it?
A lot of it has.
Okay. So there will be a ceremony Friday evening, I believe it's 7:30 at the Drive, put on by Iron Horse Arts District to celebrate the lights coming on, so.
Is it, question, sorry.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of questions on, even though I know it's been approved and all this stuff, a lot of questions of what exactly is getting lit up now. Doing East Avenue and West Avenue.
Right, so it's,
Blah, 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 how far is it going another block south?
yeah, so it'd be from 5th to 3rd.
Right.
On east and west.
East and west.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure if it was gonna stop there or go clear to the Iron Horse Station.
No. And then also that will be tied in with the street lights.
Right.
So when the lights come on, the festoon lighting will come up too. And also it won't interfere with the Christmas decorations. So they can still have the Christmas decorations and this also.
And also for people wondering, they can check to see if the poles were rated for the weight for the lights.
Yes, and that's all been taken into consideration. Yeah. So, I have nothing else. Good meeting. Thank you very much.
All right.
Wasn't out there.